Big news from Project Motor Racing. Their FAQ reveals some interesting details, including PC specs, VR support, and how races are going to start in the game. What's going on, everybody? It's Magnus, and let's get right into it. So first, we're going to go over the basic, standard questions like when it's going to release, what platforms, the car and track lists, and all of that stuff. So the game's going to release November 25th of this year. It's going to be releasing on Xbox Series S and X and PlayStation 5 and PC. The full car list and track list will be reviewed closer to launch or on the launch day. Just in case anybody missed any of those details, I just wanted to skim through those just to get everything presented. Now let's get into the minimum PC specs that they say should be able to run the game. Right, you're going to need obviously a 64-bit processor and operating system, obviously Windows 10. The processor itself, an Intel Core i5-8400 or AMD Ryzen 5 2600, 6 cores or more. You're going to need 16 gigabytes of RAM. The graphics card is an NVIDIA RTX 2060 or AMD Radeon RX 580, 6 gigs of VRAM or more, DirectX 12, broadband internet connection, what have you. The storage space is 125 available space, 125 gigabytes of available space, and just any sound card would do, I assume. And we're going to get to that storage space in a minute. That's kind of interesting. Now here are the recommended specs. A 64-bit processor and operating system, Windows 11. The processor should be a Intel Core i7-9700 or an AMD Ryzen 7 3800, 8 cores or more, 24 gigs of memory, an NVIDIA RTX 3070 or an AMD Radeon RX 6800, 8 gigabytes of VRAM or more, DirectX 12, a broadband internet connection, 125 gigs of free space. No, obviously this isn't going to be, these specifications aren't going to cover every configuration, so just keep that in mind. And this also leads me to believe that the game itself is going to be at least 125 gigabytes, which is on the small side if you compare it to Gran Turismo 7, which is 138 gigabytes on the PlayStation 5, and Forza Horizon 5, which is 157 gigabytes on the PlayStation 5. But keep in mind, Forza Horizon 5 also came with 2 expansion packs, so that's also the reason why it's a lot higher than Gran Turismo 7. So I'll just for comparison's sake. For VR users, you gotta pay attention to this. The developers do plan to support VR on PC, but not on console. But when they were asked if they were going to support PSVR 2 support on launch, this is what they had to say. There are no current plans to support PSVR 2 on launch. So with that wording, I assume that there were going to be a post-launch support patch for it, or they're going to start supporting it after launch. I don't really know. That wording's kind of, a little bit on the fence. So yeah, I would just look out for that if you're planning to buy this on console, especially on PlayStation, and you want to use PSVR 2, because I know that's a huge thing for Gran Turismo 7. As far as racing wheels are concerned, this is what they had to say. Project Motor Racing supports a wide range of racing wheels. A list of compatible peripherals will be available closer to the reveal, or I guess like the release date. So honestly, I would just wait. I can't imagine there aren't going to be too many racing wheels that aren't going to be compatible with this. You know, I know like the bigger ones like Fanatec, Moza, and Logitech and Thrustmaster. I obviously know like they're going to be supported. Like they're the biggest in like the sim racing world, so I wouldn't imagine them not being supported. I don't know any off-brand or lesser-known wheels. I mean, obviously, I would have to do my research, but since I don't use a wheel, you know, I'm still going to, you know, I guess do the research and, you know, just figure that stuff out. To be honest with you, you will be able to use a controller on PC. This is what they had to say. All official native console controllers will be supported on PC, so that gives me hope that the controller will actually be decent. Like I hope so. I honestly hope so. Now, when it comes to like telemetry data and like third-party apps, this is what they had to say. Yes, we intend to have UDP telemetry data available for dashboards, haptic feedback, and third-party apps on PC at launch. But as far as consoles are concerned, I guess they're still working on that, but I assume those details will become public very soon. Now, as far as mods are concerned, this is what they had to say about user-generated content and how it will work. We are committed to supporting modifications or mods across all platforms. However, similar to Farming Simulator, all mods will be subjected to a formal testing and approval process prior to release. This requirement applies equally to console platforms as well, where we encounter the same technical issues and limitations. There will also be no script-based mods due to the fact that those require advanced or complex functionalities that are not permitted on console. And as far as restrictions are concerned, this is what they had to say. To ensure system stability and maintain compliance with their guidelines, platform Okay, let me just start that over. To ensure system stability and maintain compliance with their guidelines, platform holders enforce strict security and content policies regarding user-generated content. These policies limit the type of mods that can be available on console. So, which is interesting, but also understand that as well. You know, especially on PlayStation, because I think that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. So, you know, you guys let me know, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the mod situation? Are you guys okay with it? Are you guys like kind of disappointed? You guys let me know down in the comment section. Now as far as DLC and post-launch support goes, this is what they had to say. Yes, we have 4 DLC expansions and 1 DLC expansion pack planned for release within the first year of this game's launch, which besides, I'm guessing one of them is the GTE pack, but it's glad to see that they're thinking long-term about the game. Obviously, we can't, you know, in this day and age, post-launch support is very important. People are no longer developing just like box games for the most part. I know there's a few out there, but if this game turned out to be good and the post-launch support is on point, I think this is going to be a very, very good experience. Now we're getting into the most interesting bits, I think, of the FAQ. They're talking about the gameplay and online portions of the game. First, you're not going to be required to have a constant internet connection. Unlike Gran Turismo 7, where you have to have an internet connection to play the campaign, the single player campaign, which is kind of ridiculous. This is not going to do that. So, you know, props to them for doing something, you know, for thinking about that. But this section actually kicks off with a very interesting question. Will Project Motor Racing allow rolling starts for races? And this is what they had to say. At release, all races in Project Motor Racing are standing starts. However, we will be offering IMSA style rolling starts post-release. Now, which is interesting, I've never played a sim racing game that only did grid starts. Now, I know, in real life they do grid starts. I've seen Porsche Carrera Cup do grid starts before, so it's not out of the question, but it's kind of weird that they're not including this post, like, at the release. I don't know why. Like, I wonder if they're going to go into more detail as to why they made this decision. Like, that's kind of weird to me. And finally, you are able to create your own leagues. Users will be able to create their own custom lobbies and host their own races, which is fine. That's something, I'm not complaining about. It's all good. It's all well and good. That's all I can say. That's really all I can say, to be honest with you. So that's where things stand. I'm excited about the mods, but questioning why they didn't add rolling starts to the game at release. I wish we had more details about the multiplayer, but hopefully that will come really soon, as the release is just weeks away. If you guys did enjoy this breakdown, hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. The link to this FAQ will be in the description box down below. Hit the notification button for updates of videos every Tuesday and Friday. Check out my latest Forza Horizon 5 multiplayer video. The link will be in the description box down below. And thanks for watching.